Evening, everyone. It's me, Jivan Dhakal, the Managing Director and the Program Conductor of JD Learning and Entertaining. As usual, we are again here for talking about English language teaching method ELT or the classroom teaching. And you know that we usually raise the issues related to teaching and learning, related to education, and some of the problem which are related to society also. Okay, and today we are going to discuss about the one of the issue, one of the problem, that is error and the error correction. We know that is error is one of the factor which occur in ELT, English language teaching method. Okay, which comes in language teaching. Okay, and today we are going to talk about it. Okay, about error and error correction, and we can also talk about mistake. Okay, and before talking about it, I would like to welcome our guest, Chandra Yogi. You are warmly welcome, sir.
Thank you, Jivan sir.
Okay, you are warmly welcome. You are also thanked for joining here in our program discussion program. Okay, and sir, I have already mentioned that today the topics for today is the subject matter for today is error correction. Okay, and today we will talk about error correction. It means we know that error occurs in teaching and learning process. We don't talk about the error in other any other field. It means we talk about teaching and learning in ELT. It means because we are teachers, we are English language teachers, and we mainly raise the question or the issues related to that teaching and learning. Okay, that is one of the problem
Yes,
which occur in the process of teaching and learning. So we are going to talk about it. Okay, sir.
yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, first question to you. First question I would like to ask you. What do you mean
Yes.
by error? It means I mean that what do you understand, or what is error, sir?
Either in case of ELT means a kind of mistake that is because of the lack of information and knowledge of that very subject one is teaching. So what happens when somebody lacks some information, some ideas of his teaching subject matter, that is error. And error, that is a permanent fault, permanent mistake a man does. For error, it is very difficult to bring change until there is a hard or deep study. This is called error, sir. Error in ELT means a regular mistake because one does not have information or knowledge of that very issue or subject, sir.
Yes. Okay. You mean that error is one form of the fault, one form of mistake. It
Yes,
means because which
yes,
occur due to lack of knowledge, which
yeah, right.
frequently repeated in the process of learning. Okay,
Yes,
and next thing mainly you told about error. Okay, that is permanent one
yes,
fault. You told permanent wrong. And one
yes,
thing I would like to ask you,
yes,
there is next one that word that is mistake. Okay, I think
yes, right.
in my view, I think most of the people think that error and mistakes are same thing, or it means same.
Yes,
It means
yes,
what do you mean by mistake,
yeah,
sir? Is there any difference between mistake and error?
yes, yes. Of course, there is a much difference between an error and a mistake, and
Mhm.
people are generally confused as well. So I have already mentioned that an error is a kind of fault that is permanent, and that's because a man does not have enough knowledge of the subject matter. And it is different in the sense that uh, error cannot be removed until and unless there is deep study by a man. And mistake is a kind of fault that is that takes place because of some physical difficulties, physical problems in a man who does mistake. For example, a mistake is less dangerous than an error, because mistake can easily be corrected, and mistake can be because of some ill condition of a speaker. In case of speaking, for example, tongue slip. Tongue slip, what happens? There is suppose something is wrong with the tongue in a person's mouth. Then at the time, some sound are spoken. Sometimes some sounds are not spoken. For example, when a man speaks, in place of he speaks, there can be he speak. But what happens with the mistake? Next time when the same person speaks the same word, he corrects. He, in place of he speak, he says he speaks. So it means error and mistakes are different in the sense, because mistakes can easily be corrected at once and immediately, while an error needs much time for make its correction, because error is done because of the lack of the information and knowledge of the subject matter. A man has to make a deep study for that. And a mistake, what is that? A man knows, he is well educated on that very in that very subject. But what happens, because of his personal problem, physical problems, because of tension, because of some ill management, he makes that. So mistakes and error are very different things. Mistakes can easily be corrected, while error takes time to be corrected. And mistakes are not permanent, but that error is a permanent thing until and unless a man tries to remove it by hard work. So this was the difference, sir, between error and mistake.
Okay, thank you so much, sir, for making us clear about error and mistake. Okay, and one thing
Yes.
we know that error is one of the permanent mistake, permanent
Yes.
fault in me. Okay, and
Yes.
and mistake is one temporary, or it means short
Yeah.
timing. It means we know that
Uh,
means the fall that is made by people due to lack of knowledge, due to lack of practice, due to lack of information. That is one error, because one thing.
yes.
And next thing, while talking about mistake, it is due to some psychological problem, some mental problem
The
also maybe,
physical problem.
some also physical
Yes.
problem also maybe, and some tongue slip,
Mm.
and some because
Mm.
sometimes people are in tension and they make mistake. And one thing next,
Yes.
the hurriness, it means people are in a hurry, people are in next means in not in that right mood. At that time also they can make fault.
Yes.
It means they
Mm.
know, they know that they know, but they
Mm.
did some
Yeah, they
problem, they,
realize.
yeah, they make fault. That is mistake, I think. Okay, am I right, sir?
Yes. Yeah. Yes, you are right. You are
Okay.
right.
Okay. Could you please make our audience clear uh, by giving example about error and mistake? Could you please give some
Yes. Okay.
example so that our audience be clear about the error and mistake?
Okay.
Okay.
Generally, what we find mistakes in case of number,
Yeah.
singular and plural.
Yeah.
Huh? For
Mhm.
example, deer is a singular and plural both. And
Mhm.
deer, the singular and singularity or plurality is clear when we make them when we use them in sentence.
Yeah.
So what happens? Generally, people make mistakes, but they say deer and deers. And if
Mm.
anybody says deers, okay, and again, every time he says deers, means that is error,
Mm.
because he is not clear. He
Mm.
simply believes that by
Mm.
adding s, deer can also be made plural. It
Mm.
is his assumptions. So this is an error, because he doesn't know the difference between the deer and deers.
Mm.
DEER, I'm talking about deer, DEER. So
Mm.
that is okay, error. And the same thing happens with simple present tense. When a
Mm.
man
Mm.
starts using I does not,
Yeah.
and not only one time, many times he says that
Yeah.
I does not go there, we does not go there. then
Mhm.
it shows that it is error, because
Yes.
he believes that IVU they tag V5.
Mhm.
In the same way, if anybody says once, I does
Mhm.
not go there, and next time he says that I do not go there, then what happens? He is not repeating it. It means that was mistake. That was tongue slip because of some fault, and because of hurriness. He said once, I does not, but next time he corrected it. He said, I do not. So when somebody repeats the mistake again and again, that is mistake. That is that when everybody repeats the mistake again, and that is error. And when a man does a mistake once or twice and again he corrects, it means he knows that was something wrong with him. So pen slipped or his tongue slipped. That is mistake. So with mistake and error, it is very easy to find out. You watch a person speaking and just make a watch on him for some time. Again, if he again repeats the same fault, means it is in error. It is an error. But if he does not repeat the same fault, it means it was a mistake, because mistake is immediately corrected, error is not immediately corrected. So this is the difference, I think our audience have understood.
Mhm.
There are some
Okay.
other example too. Yeah.
Okay.
One example can also give that. I said that
Mhm.
our audiences have. If I start to say audiences has, then here
Mhm.
also error and mistakes. The same thing happens. So many people use have with singular subject to in
Uh,
place of he. With he too, they use have. So what happens? It is if it is repeated again, it is an error. If
mhm.
it is not repeated, then it is mistake.
Okay, that
Yes, sir.
is
This much.
okay. Okay, and that is also you talk about audience. It means yes. Okay, we
Yes,
if we say audiences, because audience is always
yes,
plural, and that is one.
yes,
If we repeat it again and again, it is error. It
yes,
means why? Because error is permanent. Okay, we
yes.
have already
Uh,
told that he doesn't know about the rule or about he doesn't know about it. One thing, and
yes,
next thing, mistake means he knows, but due to some problem, he make mistake that fault. Okay, that is okay.
yes,
And
yes.
okay,
He knows.
and okay, sir. Okay, and one
He
thing
knows,
you
but some. Yes, yes.
okay,
Yes,
okay,
sir.
and one thing you told that you explained that an error is permanent, and next thing that mistake is temporary only. One thing. Next
You're
thing
right.
you and next thing I that got that I understood from you that error cannot be corrected easily. One thing, okay, and mistake can be easily
You're right.
corrected because it
Yes,
is not due to his lack of knowledge. It means he knows, but due to it means he may have lack of practice up to due to that reason he makes
yes,
mistakes or he or she make mistake that maybe it
yes,
means the error is
yes,
difficult there is difficult to correct the errors, okay, and could you
you're right.
please tell the some idea about that about means how can error be corrected or means could you please tell some ideas about it, how can error be
Yes. For
corrected.
that, first of all, you see that a man has to realize that he has error. He has spoken wrong. He has done something wrong, and that is because of his ignorance, because of lack of knowledge. When a man realizes, then what happens? He or she starts trying to find out what was wrong there. So if it is related with grammatical items, then he or she has to go to that very part of that parts of his speech and study what is wrong.
Yes,
Sometimes
sir.
what happens, a man cannot be perfect. Okay, English is not our own language, and I don't think all of us or anyone is quite perfect like native speakers. We
Yes,
can
sir.
never be like a native speaker. We
Mm.
all are learning, but what happens, we have to see the degree of faults and degree of errors. If some of the errors and some of the things can be digested on the basis that we are learners, and in coming days we will improve. But if the error or mistake is on the surface where it directly affects some of our learners and some of our students, then it becomes very necessary that we are to improve, we are to correct ourselves. And for correcting ourselves, there is only one thing, and that's that your study, your deep study on that very item, whatever is wrong. Suppose if you have lack knowledge of auxiliary verb, then you have to open the chapter of your grammar and you have to see the use of auxiliary verbs. If it is related with your prepositions, or if it is related with your conjunctions, then you have to open your book and you have to see that book and you have to correct them. One thing is that to make correction. Another is that because error are very difficult to be corrected. What happens whenever you study that book? Suppose you are committing mistakes using prepositions. For example, beside and besides. Okay, that suppose in the same way, and in or it, we where to use in or where to use it, or where to use in or into. In and into, there are two prepositions. Then what happens? As soon as you see the book, you believe and you correct your mistakes. But next time, again after some time, you start doing the same, committing the same fault. It means that was a permanent error and you need great practice. And for great practice, you have to keep a man with you who can show your fault. Actually, faults and errors are not felt, realized by the speakers or by the users, him or herself. Because if a speaker could have realized, could have felt that he has done something wrong, then I don't think he would do that. So what happens? You have to keep a person next to you who could show your fault and error, so that you can find out the place at the point where you have done the mistake, you have done error. Then it will be easier to correct yourself. So in summary, what I would like to say, for your correction of error, if it is in you, then you need to find out first of all where you are doing error, where you're committing error, and that portion you have to do hard study on that very spot. Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
Yes.
Okay. I think according to you, the
Yes.
for correcting our errors, we should have good
Yes.
okay, deep concentration
Yes.
and deep study, deep knowledge about that. We should get deep.
Yeah. Right.
And next thing, to correct our mistake, I think only the person should be in fresh mind. One thing. Next thing also, he or
Yes.
she should be concentrate, or the he or she should speak and by thinking about it. Okay,
You're
one thing.
right.
And next thing also, I think the mistakes can be corrected. Okay, and by I think it means for improving our mistake, for reducing our mistake, the person should have practice. Right, because due to
Yes.
lack
Right.
of, it means in English also we know the rules, grammatical rules. Okay, we know, but due to lack of practice, we sometimes we use
Yes.
I does like this also. We say means I
Yes.
yes like this also, because we means we don't care about that. It means we have knowledge, but due to lack of practice also we make mistake. That is also one thing. And next thing I would like to ask you, sir, one thing.
Yes. What I would like to. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm. Okay, sir.
Yes. Yes, sir.
I would like. Yes, sir.
Yes. Yes. Ask.
Okay. And one thing I would like to ask you, sir, could you please suggest some idea to correct students' fault? I mean that how to make the correction in students' copy, or the student, it means students do homework. Okay, and it means there is
Yes.
no any fix, there is no any particular that way of the correcting the mistake made by the students. Okay, and there may be, I think there are so many ways of making that correcting mistakes. Okay, and there are, it means
Yes.
some
Yes.
of the means all the teachers don't have idea about correcting mistake. Could you please flash some
You're right.
ideas, okay, and about correcting
Yes.
the copies, correcting the students fault?
Yes. Yeah. Of course. Of course. Yes. Sorry. Actually, what happens? We are teachers, and generally we are to check, inspect the copy of the students. So for making it accessible and for making it easier, what I would like to suggest that while you teach or while you go to your classroom, you have to see your number of the students, and you have to divide your students in groups.
Yes,
First,
sir.
again, for example, four groups or five groups, because group teaching is also very important, peer teaching as well. So what happens when you make the group? What happens, suppose some homework had been given to the student, the next day a teacher has to check them. So what happened before, first of all, he should suggest a group to check the copies of B group, and B group should copy the C group. This way, the student should check the copies of student. A student will check the copy of another student, and what will happen? It will give an idea to find out the mistake themselves. But what I see that some of the teachers take copy directly, and they start making a kind of circle around that fault where the child has done the mistake, and start scolding the students, because we are teaching in a child friendly school, and this is and we do the student center activities. So if we do everything ourselves, then how can it be the student centered teaching activity in the classroom? The activities of the students should be shown there. So what even here, we teacher is a facilitator only. A teacher is not the master. So here what happens, a student checks copy of another checks of another, and at last what happens, a teacher should collect the copies and check himself also, because they are not the experience. But here what happens, the learning opens for everyone. It is not a hidden practice. Huh? So this is one idea. Another, then what happens when teacher checks copies, a teacher, there are the faults and mistakes of different kinds. For example, a child might have done mistake in spellings. There can be spelling fault. Well, in place of right, a child could have written or would have written RITE only. Well, so if there is spelling faults, then whatever teacher has to underline there only, and there upside written SP, spelling fault, spelling mistake. And in the same way, if there is some fault regarding grammatical items, for example, wrong preposition, okay, in place of in there is to, so there a teacher should underline and write upside PREP. PREP means that fault is related with the prepositional. So and this way a teacher has to mark, not cut. A teacher does not have, a teacher should not make a round circle. A teacher should not make any kind of cross in the copy, because it demoralizes the student.
Yeah.
And those mistakes can be the reason of mocking, of insult for that student. So teaching should be interesting, teaching should be transparent, teaching should be easable. That is why a teacher should make this kind of management in the classroom for teaching. That's why this is the ways of checking copies. And what I said that and so many other ways are there which are not possible to explain here right now because shortage of time. But the main thing is that a teacher should never make circle. A teacher should not scold the student at the fault. Simply, a teacher should take the copy and see if there is a spelling mistake, write down, underline, and then write down SP. If there is mistake related preposition, write down, underline that portion and write down PRP. And this can be helpful for the teacher in making a kind of idea regarding the students' skill and competency too. For example, RAM. I checked the copies of RAM. There I found some spelling mistakes, and I found the mistakes are relating preposition. I checked some others copies too, and they too many of them too made mistake at preposition. Then what happens? Mine idea can be teaching to them preposition next time. What it shows that give an idea that students are weak in preposition. So tomorrow it can be easy to the teacher to remove that very defect from the student. So if suppose many students have done fault in preposition, means students are weak in preposition, they lack knowledge of preposition. Tomorrow teacher can make a lesson plan for the next time teaching, that our student or my student are very weak in preposition. Now I should teach them preposition. Next time I will add preposition in my lesson plan, and this way a teacher can remove that fault next time too. So this kind of checking can be helpful for the teachers next planning too, sir. Yes.
Yes, sir. Very great idea, nice idea for correcting the mistakes of that students. One means according to you, one that way of correcting is peer correction. I think. Okay, it
Yeah,
means the
right.
students correct the mistake of students. It means the students are divided into some groups, 2 or 3 groups, and
Yes.
the copies of one group are given to next group. Or that also maybe
Yes.
also same, the students have one group, and the one group, the one person that copy is exchanged to another person, like this also maybe. It means, look here,
Yes.
the
Yes.
students correct themselves one thing, and they
Yes.
find mistake, and one thing they find mistake also, and they also that tell the mistake of another person themselves, it means, and they become clear themselves. It will be
Mm.
interesting one thing, because
Yes.
they
Yes.
that create that discussion environment among them. And next thing,
Yes.
yes, the next thing also, if there is mistake of one, the checker, the person who checked, that will be corrected by teacher, and from that mistake also, everybody their concentration will be drawn there. From there also they can learn.
Yes.
And
Yes.
next thing, according to you,
Yes.
next I think the correction by underlining, correction by teacher by underlining
Yes.
one thing. It means, I think
Yes.
that cutting, and that only cutting, that making circle, I think this will make the copy dirty, and next thing, that student will discourage. And
Yeah. Right.
so the students should be given only that, only there should be, the copies should be, there are the mistakes should be on the underlined one thing. And next thing, there should be written some symbol sign also, that you told about, that
Mm.
preposition like this also. And if they, I
Yes.
think that will make student that, what to say, active. Why? Because
Yes.
they realize that there is a mistake, and they can sort themselves,
Yes.
or they can struggle
Yes.
themselves. They can that discuss with friend. They can also search in dictionary and Google, and they find answer, and that will make permanent in their mind. That is, I
Yes.
think, you have very good idea, very best idea for correcting the mistake of students. I think that I like it. Okay,
Yes.
sir.
Yes.
And we are nearly at the end of our program. So, without
Yes.
doing any delay, I would like to ask you at last. And what is your message, or what is your that idea regarding error and error correction and the mistake? Okay, and what it means? I mean that, what message do you want to convey to our audience who are watching here, to our teachers, okay, who are teaching in different schools, and the students who are studying, and about error and error correction?
Thank you. Thank you for this very question. What
Yes,
I would
sir.
like to say to our viewers and watchers and our teachers, if they are, and
Mhm,
learners, if they are students, that
mhm.
correction and errors, mistakes, they are human error.
Yeah.
A man only does mistakes. A man only does that errors.
Yes, sir.
God never does any kind of error or mistakes. So we should not be very much serious regarding these things.
Yes,
But
sir.
our errors, our mistakes tell a lot of things about us.
Mhm.
They never send others good message regarding us.
Yes, sir.
Mistakes talk something. A mistake says something. What does a mistake says? If you again and again does mistake, or if you again commit errors, so what happens? The message goes to the people that this man is not fit for these things. One. Another, this man is very careless person. Another thing, this man is not well educated.
Yes, sir.
Mistakes always takes wrong message regarding us. People make a wrong attitudes towards us,
Yes, sir.
because errors are natural, mistakes are natural, but they should be corrected. If you do not correct your mistakes, if you do not correct your errors, it always makes you very difficult. People make different kind of wrong attitudes towards you, that this man is very careless person. This much, sir, for today. And what I would like to say, some other people, that anyone who's interested to exchange his or her ideas among us, I always would like to welcome them. They are always welcome to us. I also need that I should have some friend to expose and to get some ideas from them. Sir, thank you very much, sir, for giving the chance to speak here.
Thank you so much, sir, for participating in our discussion program, which is very important
Yes,
issue, which is very important, valuable, or the very worthy for the student, for the teacher. Okay, and who it
yes,
means our topic here is was related to ELT, English language teaching. Okay, and as our Tara sir told, I request all the English language teachers, English language learners. It means we are learner and we are teacher, and for joining in our program, and so that we can exchange our idea, so that we can improve ourselves, and we can also yeah, and our sharing, okay, our sharing will be helpful to other people too. Okay, so I request everyone, you are welcome in our program, and you can join with us. We can collaborate, and we can share our ideas, and you are welcome. Thank you so much, sir. And now it is time to depart, sir, and so now we can depart. Okay, thank you so much,
okay,
sir.
sir.